Good morning, members. For my first time in front of the Public Safety Committee since I've been in the legislature, so I have a common sense bill here with me today. SB 804, law enforcement and the legal system must be given the tools to properly serve our communities. Law enforcement and civilians are becoming more frequently used. This bill would authorize fully trained law enforcement civilians to perform hearsay testimony at the preliminary hearings. They would need to have at least 5 years of experience, must have undergone the same hearsay testimony training that sworn officers do. This training is the same post-training that sworn officers must complete. Currently, only sworn officers can perform hearsay testimony. If law enforcement civilians are called to court, sworn officers must re-interview old victims, and those victims must be called to court to testify themselves. Allowing law enforcement civilians to perform hearsay testimony will streamline the process and will lighten the load on already strained police force. This bill is good for victims. It would enable them to avoid appearing in court, and it is good for the law enforcement as it would free up already limited resources, not requiring sworn officers to be the ones performing the hearsay testimony. This bill was brought to me by, out of my district. I have with me today the police chief of Reading, Bill Schuler, to testify.
Thank you. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Good morning, Senators. My name is Bill Schuler. I'm a sworn law enforcement officer for over 29 years, currently serving as a chief of police for the city of Reading. June 5th, 1990, the majority of California voters passed Proposition 115, the Crime Victims Justice Reform Act. One of the provisions in Proposition 115 is the allowance for peace officers with specified training or experience to provide hearsay testimony during preliminary hearings. The law required peace officers either attend post-developed training or have 5 years of experience to provide this hearsay testimony. The new law only applied to sworn peace officers. Current day, City of Reading, like many other police departments, utilizes unarmed civilian officers, we call them community service officers, to investigate a wide variety of past tense felony and misdemeanor crimes. Those include financial crimes, elder abuse, car theft, and theft from homes, businesses, and automobiles. The civilian officers interview victims and witnesses, write police reports, and collect evidence. When a felony arrest is made on a case previously investigated by a civilian officer, the district attorney's office must subpoena the victim and witnesses to testify at the preliminary hearing. This has a significant impact on victims who have already been victimized when the crime was committed. In addition, they must now miss work, close their small business for the day, hire daycare, or make other arrangements to testify at that preliminary hearing. If the case has been investigated by a sworn officer, that would not be the case. Another option is to have a sworn officer re-interview all victims and witnesses of any felony case previously investigated by a civilian officer. My department receives on average 10 to 15 of these requests from the DA's office every month, and that process of re-interviewing victims and witnesses takes significant time to complete and keeps that peace officer off the street and away from their primary duty of responding to emergency calls. This is a significant drain on law enforcement resources and defeats the purpose of having unarmed civilian officers in police departments. SB 804 solves both these issues. It allows a properly trained post-civilian officer with a minimum of 5 years experience to testify in the same manner.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Thank you for allowing me to testify today.
Thank you. If we have any other